Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2020. Our top story this morning concerns the tragic death of former NBA star Kobe Bryant. Investigations are still underway, but Soraya has some of the details.
Most of the world has heard of the sudden, shocking news from yesterday. NBA All-Star Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California at 41 years old. There were 9 people on board the helicopter headed to Mamba Academy, Kobe's basketball school. The crash happened at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and as of last night, there are no survivors. Among the victims were Gianna Bryant, Kobe's 13-year-old daughter, another student from the academy, and their parent. After the news broke, the Toronto Raptors and the San Antonio Spurs intentionally allowed the 24-second shot clock to expire in tribute to Bryant, who wore 24 when he was in Los Angeles Lakers. The National Transportation Safety Board sent investigators to the site to start a ruling on the cause of the crash, considering the role played by weather, terrain, radio towers, or bird strikes.
South Jersey is being overwhelmed with thousands of President Trump's supporters as they get themselves ready for his rally at the Wildwood Convention Center. Eli has that report.
A man named Duke Riel felt a little excited as he waited for President Donald Trump and his Keep America Great Again rally, scheduled for Tuesday at the Wildwoods Convention Center. Duke found himself Sunday afternoon arriving at 2 p.m. ahead of approximately 20 other Trump supporters who had their chairs set up in an organized single-file line down the sidewalk. Duke stated that he felt Trump's raging energy. Second in line, a fancy-dressed male in a gray striped suit with a red tie, stood Richard Snowden, stating that he has attended 62 rallies and always wants to be bright and early. The rally, scheduled to start at 7 p.m. Tuesday, is a first-come, first-served basis for the 7,500 ticket members that will fit inside the convention center. And many fans camped outside like if there was a new iPhone getting released.
Thanks, Rihanna. Now it's time for announcements. Support the class of 2021. Send your special RPHS student a sweet motivational treat for their midterm. Pre-order box treats attached with a sweet message for your favorite test taker. Candy can be picked up after school in the front lobby after their exam. $3 each, and candy choices include Starburst, Sugar Babies, Sour Patch Kids, M&Ms, and Nerds. Examgrams can be purchased during lunches or pre-order forms are in the office. GSA. There will be a GSA meeting on Tuesday, January 28th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the library. All are welcome. Confidentiality is a must. Future Health Careers Club will be having a special guest speaker on Friday, February 7th during 4th period. A registered nurse who works as a forensics nurse for the sexual assault team at the county prosecutor's office will be speaking. If you would like to attend the program, you must see Ms. Haddad to sign up. Art Club and National Art Honor Society will be meeting Fridays after school in room 102 during the school year. We are working on projects and sometimes exploring new media. Join us. Breakfast program. Start your day the right way. Our school offers a breakfast program available in the cafeteria starting at 7:10 a.m. Full price is $1.85 and reduces 30 cents. Breakfast has many benefits for our students. Take advantage of our breakfast program. Summer camp is seeking counselors. Looking to fill counselor positions at the high school level, $7 an hour, and college level, $10.30 an hour. Must have experience in one or more of the following areas: arts and crafts, baton, cheerleading, color guard, dance, digital gaming, drawing, fitness, lifeguard, robotics, technology, theater. Also looking to fill the position of adult custodian, $16 an hour. Complete the application and return to the summer camp mailbox office no later than February 7th at 12 noon to be considered. National Honor Society's empanada sale after school on Thursday, January 30th, 2020. 1 empanada and drink $3, 2 empanadas and drink $5. Wands for Wildlife. Recycle and save wildlife. The Ecology Club is collecting old mascara wands. The wands will be donated to a wildlife rehabilitation nonprofit refuge who uses the old mascara wands to help remove fly eggs and larvae from the fur of animals. They work great because the bristles are so close together and gentle to use on the injured and orphaned wild animals receiving care. You can help to save wild lives. Drop off old mascara wands in room 110.
When midterms coming up, it's important to use your time wisely. Here are some tips for midterm review. Don't procrastinate.
There is always a need for pets to be adopted, but for one animal shelter, there is one cat that seems to be a big problem. As a matter of fact, it may be the worst cat in the world. Soraya has that report.
At the Mitchell County Animal Rescue Organization Center in North Carolina, the world's worst cat is ready and up for adoption. 4-year-old Perdita was received by the organization center on Christmas Eve and from then on has made her name as the worst cat. What gives her this title is stated in a Facebook advertisement where it says her dislikes include Disney movies, the color pink, kittens, dogs, children, hugs, and many other joyful things, while her likes are lurking in dark corners, the movie Pet Cemetery, jump scares, and the song Cat Scratch Fever. The minute you try to rub her, she slaps you. We thought she was in pain and took her to the vet, and no, this cat is just a jerk, says shelter director Amber Laurie. Perdita is up for adoption for free. Her Facebook post has gotten thousands of likes and more than 50 applications have been submitted to adopt this feisty feline.
Stay tuned. We will be right back. that's it for us today. Thanks for watching RPtv. Have a great day. Good luck on your exams. Stay tuned for CNN 10.
Serving viewers from Colombia to England, Egypt to Nigeria, South Korea and Japan to Canada and Naperville, Illinois, this is CNN 10, and I'm Carl Azus. It's great to be with you on this last Monday in January. We are exactly 1 week away from the Iowa caucuses. They're the first formal contest in the U.S. presidential nomination process. Caucuses and primaries are state-held events that help narrow down a field of candidates so that each major party has only one name that appears on the presidential ballot. For Republicans, there are two people challenging incumbent President Donald Trump for the party's nomination. One additional candidate has dropped out of the race, but election analysts expect the U.S. leader will easily win his party's contests. For Democrats, it's more complicated. There are currently 12 of them still in the running, and 16 other Democrats have dropped out of the race. For those still in it, all eyes are on Iowa. When voters there caucus on February 3rd, they could give a big lift to the candidates who make a strong showing. According to the Des Moines Register, more than half the Democrats and Republicans who won the Iowa caucuses eventually won their party's nomination for president, at least since 1972. But only 3 of those Iowa caucus winners actually went on to become president. So why do they matter so much right now? Momentum. Doing well in the first contest gives candidates a boost. It gets their names out there, it helps them with fundraising, and for those who don't do well in Iowa, the results can have the opposite effect. They may struggle to gain ground on the winners. They may struggle to get campaign donations. Some candidates usually drop out after Iowa. But before these caucuses and primaries begin, we're explaining what the differences are between them.
So most of us are familiar with voting in a primary. You go to your polling place, you enter a voting booth or some approximation of a voting booth, and you pick your preferred candidates. Then you leave. Done and done. Caucuses are way more labor intensive for voters. The best way to understand the difference between a primary and a caucus, you ask? A primary is a vote. A caucus is a conversation and a vote. That's Iowa Republican Party Chairman Jeff Kaufman summarizing things nicely. So let's go through how it works for Democrats. Across Iowa on caucus night, people will gather in schools and churches and community centers and the like. In some Democratic caucuses, particularly in strongly Democratic areas that are allotted more delegates, a presidential candidate or one of his or her surrogates will address the gathering before the caucusing actually begins.
This race is in your hands.
And then the caucusing begins. People literally vote with their feet, lining up in groups around the room according to the candidate they support. The groups are then counted, with only candidates who have support from 15% or more of the caucus goers in the room being considered viable. That's really important. And here's where it gets really interesting. If your first choice candidate doesn't meet that 15% viability test, you are then asked to consider caucusing with a candidate who does, which leads to all sorts of cajoling, haranguing, persuading of these newly undecided voters by people already supporting one of the viable candidates.
A lot of you are probably undecided at this point.
I support Marco Rubio.
Now, once the groups settle, the numbers are counted again and delegates for each candidate are assigned. For a variety of ties and other weird scenarios that do happen, a coin flip, yes, really a coin flip, is used to decide which candidate gets a delegate. Caucuses are like unicorns, unique, cool, and sort of weird all at the same time. But if history is any guide, the winner of this Iowa caucus will have a major leg up on winding up as the Democratic nominee against President Donald Trump in November.
Family members, friends, and fans are mourning the death of basketball great Kobe Bryant. Early reports indicated he was among 9 people, including one of his daughters, who were killed in a helicopter crash yesterday in Calabasas, California. It's about 30 miles west of Los Angeles, where Bryant spent his professional career helping the LA Lakers win 5 championships. Between 1996 and 2016, Bryant scored 33,643 points in his career. That puts him 4th overall in NBA history, according to ESPN. World leaders, from President Trump to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, extended their condolences yesterday. Bryant was 41 years old at the time of the crash. Because it's still under investigation, details continued to come out after we produced this show. You can find the latest on Bryant, his career, and the accident at CNN.com. 10-second trivia. Who won the most widely watched sporting event in U.S. history? New England Patriots, Philadelphia Phillies, Serena Williams, or Richard Petty? Super Bowl 49, or XLIX, was when the Patriots defeated the Seahawks in front of more than 114 million Americans. In recent years, the Super Bowl has regularly been the highest-rated event on TV in America. That's why the network that runs it can charge tremendous amounts of money for Super Bowl ads. This year's record price for a 30-second commercial, $5,600,000. Besides the fact that part of next Sunday's audience will be watching Super Bowl 54 just for the ads, what are companies getting for their money?
Why would a company like Coca-Cola, that everybody already knows, spend millions of dollars to remind you that they still exist? Why does Coca-Cola want to buy a Super Bowl ad? To answer this question, we brought in a smart person who gets paid to get inside your head. Meet Amy Avery.
Chief Intelligence Officer at Droga 5, Adweek and Ad Agent's top creative agency.
Let me guess, faking your own death to get out of your Verizon contract?
You know, people around me ask all the time, because I do measurement, is $5.1 million really a reasonable amount to charge for that, and why would a brand ever do it? Yes, you're buying exposure, but that's not really what you're buying there. You're buying access into conversation, you're buying access into a memorable experience, you're triggering emotion.
Oh, man. For some big purchases like a car, you might research it, give it a lot of thought, and that's where the details of an ad you saw about an APR deal might kick in.
It's 0% financing for 60 months.
But for most of the things that you buy every day, you don't really think about why you're doing it. It's that brief moment before you grab a product off the shelf that those countless ads you've seen over and over and over again take effect. Should you go with the cheaper brand you've never heard of, or the more expensive brand you saw on TV? So there was this study done, and it took 2 items that were exactly the same. But one had a brand on it that people knew, and the other one was the same product without the brand. People preferred the exact same item branded by 24%. Cut to 4 years later, and that brand slashed their ad budget. The same test was done, and the brand's perceived quality was cut in half.
Boy, y'all made for a perfect meal in just 6 minutes. Buy some today!
I will!
One of the reasons for this is that not only does not advertising make your product seem less desirable, it also raises the perceived quality of your cheaper, generic competitors. Your perception of the difference between product you know X and product you've never heard of Y, it shrinks. And advertising is not just meant to make you go out and buy something. Yes, that is a big part of it, but it also works to make people happier with the purchase that they already made. People in the ad world call this reinforcement. You want to know that the thing you bought is good, and seeing an ad makes you enjoy the product that you already have more. So without ads on TV to make you feel better about the purchase, you might think the item is worse.
And when people talk about how it doesn't work, I'm like, mathematically it does. I mean, they wouldn't keep doing it. These companies are massive companies with a lot of investment behind making sure that it's working and tracking that it's not. There is 20 to 30% of your sales typically come from advertising. So yes, you're still going to have sales. Your company's not, Coca-Cola's not going out of business if they stop, but they're no longer counting on that percentage of sales. So if they have 100 sales, they're now going to have 80 sales.
Let's go back to that Coca-Cola ad. There's family, there's friends, and not a lot of Coke. The soda is kind of secondary here. What it's really doing is stirring up your emotions. It's making you feel something, family, patriotism. Coca-Cola knows that that feeling, that emotional connection, is what's going to make your hand want to reach for the red bottle.
For 10 out of 10, we wouldn't exactly call this underwater creature a land shark, but it definitely looks like it could get around on solid ground. Scientists recently found 4 new species of what are called walking sharks. They use their fins to climb around seagrass and shallow reefs while they're on the hunt for small fish. So thankfully, they're not dangerous to humans. But if a great white ever decides to imitate one and you've got a cut on your ankle, you'll need ample time to ramble to reach the upper beach, to sash away from waves while waving adieu to what's chasing you in hopes you'll have the locomotion to propel you from the ocean. You can't meander reefs when what's walking your way has teeths. That's a cold-blooded conclusion to CNN 10. We hope you'll take it all in stride. We want to thank Trickham Middle School for taking a 10-minute bite out of their day. They're watching from Lilburn, Georgia. Please keep subscribing and commenting at youtube.com/CNN10 for your chance to be mentioned on our show. I'm Carl Azus.